Hello and welcome back to ManVFilm. It's time for more announcements. This time we have Vinegar Syndrome's March announcements, and we'll have a quick look maybe at some of their partner label titles as well, which could be really hit and a miss. Asking Vinegar Syndrome as well, I suppose. Let's dive in and have a little look at what is to come. So, I suppose the big one this month is Dr. Terror's House of Horrors, an Amicus anthology movie, which I've already reviewed on the channel. 5 men, all strangers, board a carriage on a train from London to the town of Bradley, where they're joined at the last minute by a sixth, a mysterious, black-clad older gentleman who introduces himself as Dr. Shrek. Bearing a stack of tarot cards, Dr. Shrek claims to have the ability to read fortunes, and although some of the group are initially sceptical, it's not long before his fellow passengers are asking him each in turn to relate what the future holds in store. What follows is 5 fiendish tales of terror as the Doctor reveals the various dreadful fates that are about to befall his travelling companions, which include bone-chilling encounters with werewolves, killer plants, voracious vampires, and other manner of horrors. It's a 2-disc set, 4K Ultra HD and a Region A Blu-ray, presented in HDR. It's a newly scanned and restored in 4K from its 35mm camera negative. Audio commentary with director Freddie Francis and moderator Jonathan Southcott. A new home of horror, a featurette including never-before-seen interviews with actress Katie Wilde and a bunch of other people. Tales of Terror. Author Stephen Thrower on Dr. Terror's House of Horrors, which should be interesting. House of Cards, an archival making-of documentary. Archival interviews with actor Kenny Lynch, actor Anne Bell, and actor Jeremy Kemp. Archival audio interviews with the writer-producer Milton Subotsky and producer Max Rosenberg. And then there are a bunch of trailers, 2 extensive promotion image galleries, reversible sleeve, and English subtitles for the deaf and hard of hearing. It's good. It's not my favourite Amicus movie. I think it's probably Asylum, but you know what? I'm not aggrieved to be getting that in 4K, so I'm looking forward to revisiting that one. Next up, we have a 2-pack, I believe. Yes, Spectres and Maya. So, Spectres, while excavating the catacombs at an archaeological site in Rome, a team of researchers make an astonishing discovery when a nearby drilling work in the subway system causes a wall to collapse, revealing a passageway leading to a series of hitherto unexplored tunnels. Delving deeper into the subterranean labyrinths, the team uncover a cavernous tomb filled with ominous inscriptions, as well as strange, unidentifiable skeletons and a crude sacrificial weapon. Little do the archaeologists realise that the uncovering of this buried chamber, long since sealed off from the world, has unleashed an evil intent on wreaking bloody havoc. That sounds very formulaic and like a bunch of films I've seen before. Then we have Mia. Lisa, a young woman from New York, arrives in a small Mexican seaside town to identify the body of her father, a researcher into Mayan culture who's been brutally murdered in a sacrificial-style killing. Determined to uncover the truth behind her late father's death, Lisa decides to stay in town where she learns about the local folklore and superstitions of him with the help of Peter, a young American and a friend of her father. As more people are found dead, all slaughtered in a similarly gruesome fashion in the town celebrations of the dead loom, could the legend of the vengeful and bloodthirsty Mayan king returning from the dead prove to be true? Donald Pleasant stars in one, maybe both, which is interesting, and we have English and Italian mono, or I don't know what. It's a 2-disc set, newly scanned and restored in 2K from their 35mm original camera negatives, presented with their original English language mono soundtracks, as well as the Italian language dub. Audio commentary with Troy Howarth and Eugenio Ercolani. Little Roman Ghosts, interview with the director of Spectres. Paranormal Roman Activity, interview with the producer of Spectres. Little Spectres, Little Demons, interview with the special effects artist of Spectres. A Horrific Anomaly, interview with film historian Eugenio Ercolani on Spectres, who I genuinely like his extras. Simply Emma, an audio interview with actress Erna Schroeder for Spectators. Audio commentary with film historians Trow Howarth, Nathaniel Thompson, and Eugenio Ercolani on Mia. The Mexican Connection, interview with the director of Mia. Second Time Around, interview with the producer. Scream Queen Memories, interview with the actress. And Mystical Mind Melodies, interview with the composer. Alternate Italian titles and credits for both films. Although both the Spectres and Mia were initially finished with English stereo soundtrack, for reasons that are unclear, the left channel of both stereo tracks suffered extreme and intermittent ringing and a hiss, resulting in their only ever having been distributed in mono. So, I don't know about these ones at all. The synopsis sound very generic, which doesn't mean it's going to be a bad thing. I like the kind of people who are on the discs as extras, which kind of lead me towards like almost trusting this one a little bit. I will check it out as soon as it arrives, and we'll see if it's worth that trust or not. Next up, we have Singapore Sling, which I've often heard referred to, and I'm unsure if I actually want to see it or not. It's coming, so I will be watching it. On a dark and stormy night, mother and daughter, a wealthy pair of psychopathic killers with a penchant for murdering their servants, happen upon a badly injured man laying dying in the mud. Bringing him back to their opulent villa, they begin nursing him back to health, naming him Singapore Sling in the process. As soon as he's well enough, the twisted duo begins subjecting him to every manner of torture imaginable. But as each of them develop their own unique interest in their mysterious victim, a perverse love triangle begins to unfold, leading to shocking revelations. Yes, would just say, yeah, staggeringly beautiful as it is, notorious Nikos Nicoladis claimed Singapore Sling is a grotesque, essential, and altogether unforgettable genre cinema gem from one of Greece's key art house auteurs. Okie dokie, region-free Blu-ray, newly scanned and restored in 4K from its original camera negative, Directing Hell, an 80-minute documentary from 2011 exploring the work of the director. We've got new interviews with the wife of the director, with the actress Michelle Valley, with actor Panos Thanasoulis, cinematographer Aris Stavru, 20-page booklet and a reversible sleeve. I've heard this one mentioned. I know pretty much nothing about it. Never watched the trailer. No, haven't watched it. I'm not going to, because the film is coming. And one way or another, I'll be checking it out and telling you my thoughts on this one. So that's the kind of Vinegar Syndrome titles. That's the subscription titles that I will be getting this month. Let's go into some other additional films that are being released as part of the Vinegar Syndrome Labs. Is Story of a Junkie, which initially wasn't one I was overly interested in. John Spacely, known in the streets as Gringo, has spent much of his life selling and using drugs, mostly heroin. Since relocating from his native California to the Lower East Side of New York, Gringo has gained a group of steady customers for the dope he sells, among them musicians and actors, and in the process, he's also developed a reputation as a colourful street character, hanging out amongst the dilapidated environs of Lower Manhattan. But with his own drug habits starting to get the better of him, Gringo must challenge himself not to end up on an even darker path, from which there may be no way back. Region-free Blu-ray with the soundtrack CD, newly scanned and restored in 4K from the 16mm camera negative. We have an interview with the director, an interview with the editor, the composer, Lloyd Kaufman pops up for 4 minutes, archival interview with the producer, soundtrack CD, reversible art. Now, this is one of those ones where the synopsis just, it didn't win me over. And I'm really looking for some more information on this one because I watched the trailer and it does seem somewhat interesting. It's a kind of fictionalized documentary kind of idea, which again, I find some curiosity in, but not enough to pick it up as yet. So let me know your opinion of this one if you have anything to say about it. Then next up from cinematography, we have got Going South, I think the second film from Jack Nicholson. Henry Moon is a cut-rate outlaw in post-Civil War Texas. Convicted of bank robbery and property theft, Moon is sentenced to death by hanging in the town of Longhorn, a town that maintains an ordinance allowing for any condemned man to be freed from the gallows via marriage. Julia Tate, a quiet, virginal young woman with a secret gold mine, saves Moon from the gallows in an attempt to exploit him for free labour. With Moon intent on consummating his marriage to a virgin bride and Tate seeking to mine her hidden fortune, the two embark on an equally combative comedic relationship in the Old West. I've seen this one a long time ago. I don't have a big memory of it, which leads me to believe it wasn't very memorable at all. It is a 4K disc, a UHD and a Region A Blu-ray. New commentary with film critic Simon Abrams, and A Man with a Camera, a new video essay by Sam Deegan. Jack of Three Trades, In Focus on Nicholson the Director, a new visual essay by Daniel Kramer. And we have new written essays by Mark Elliott and film critic Chris Shields, and the subtitles from the Deaf and Hard of Hearing. I think I'm going to pass on this one as well. I haven't bought a cinematography release as yet, although I am tempted to go back and pick up Red Rock West because I've heard that's a new transfer, a pretty decent one at that, than the kind of one that's going about. Again, I probably no rush to pick that one up. Let's jump into the partner labels and see what they are bringing out. So I won't go into all of these. I'll quickly run through them. So we've got The Absence of Milk in the Mouths of the Lost from the art label. Animation Night in Canada is something I'd generally be interested in, but it just doesn't strike me as something I really need to see. Utopia, another body, again, kind of passing on most of these. XYZ Films, Husera, Factory 25, Job's World. It's just looking at the trailers where you can find them. Most of these ones are ones that I feel they're not necessary, and I feel a lot of the partner labels are starting to become almost anything, and very rarely am I finding them landing a lot these days. Karate Contra Mafia from Pulse Video. One that jumps out at me is an interesting title, but when I dig into it, I find things that kind of put me off. We have the American Genre Film Archive, The Last Slumber Party. Again, had a look at the trailer. It's a poor month, I think, for... It's not a poor month for partner labels, it's a poor month for my taste in partner labels. Not a lot here I was really interested in. Yellow Veil Pictures with Rebel, again, kind of missed. Dark Star with Scalpel, or Scalper, was the first one that I jumped into. I had a look at. I watched the trailer. I was kind of interested. And I started checking Letterboxd, checking IMDb, checking reviews. They weren't great. And then I discovered that this is a sequel to some other movie that I hadn't seen as well. So, again, another one to kind of miss out on. Then we have Saturn's Core with Severe Injuries. I just, an amazing piece of art on the cover of that. An amazing piece of art that let me know that this was one to watch out for. It's not going to be live up to that at all. We've got Music Box Selects with Signature Move. And another one, I'm just kind of passing on. The Canalogue with Time of Molting. ECR Media with the United States of Insanity. And then Deaf Crocodile, which is a label that I generally buy from a lot. I think I've got just about every one of their releases so far. World War III, just doesn't interest me at all. It's a modern movie. It doesn't grab me looking at the trailer and things like that. Again, it was just a complete kind of miss for me. So this is a rather barren month. I'm getting Dr. Terror's House of Horrors, Spectres and Mia, and Singapore Sling. Other than that, there's nothing else I want to buy. I may pick up Red Rock West, and that's about it. And depending on what you say about Story of a Junkie, we shall see about that one. I'm kind of glad for a little bit of a break, to be honest, because I've been picking up so much and chasing my tail trying to watch them. I'm happy to have a little break. Of course, I would love to know your thoughts on these announcements. Is there anything in amongst the VS ones that I should reconsider, or the partner labels? If there's anything, let me know. You might be able to swing me a little bit. I'm not too sure, but you can try. So anyway, drop me a comment in the comment box below. Let me know your thoughts on these announcements, and I will see you next time on ManVFilm.